Governments today are grappling with the change brought about by technology. The shift in demands of citizens, expectations, and service standards has created a new need for governments worldwide to seek new definitions of design and delivery. GX is an idea born out of the United Arab Emirates, created to fulfill the promise of government service delivery and changing it to an experience. The model is now slowly evolving to become a template that can be used globally to create government service delivery excellence.
Communities have much higher expectations of service delivery today. And so if you're a community member, you're used to using consumer apps on your smartphone or going to a website, and then you use a government service and it's not nearly as good, or perhaps it's not even digital. The sense is now that this is becoming, no longer acceptable.
In many countries of the world, people don't trust their governments, and I'm speaking from my experience in Africa. They often are willing to trust the private sector rather than governments. So I think there's some really interesting things around that, but if people don't trust governments, they're not going to be willing to engage with those service provision. Unless, of course, the government makes it essential that they do so through their digital systems.
We have learned from e-residency experiences to try to put yourself in the shoes of the user, because we see quite often that that's what government officials are lacking. So they sit in their silos and they don't talk to the users, they don't understand the needs of the users.
Citizens today expect a different level of service at a government level. The expectations are a combination of what they're seeing in the private sector, in the retail sector, in the healthcare sector, and a combination of this is leading to the overall citizen need, if you will, for service excellence. You and I, we all use smartphones and technology to make decisions, to access services, and it's very common just to expect that every service should be available on a cell phone, should be available on a mobile device. But not all governments have been able to translate services from a service center to online.
In the United Arab Emirates, we focus on customer experience from their live instances. So for example, if the customer has a newborn baby, we look at that as a point of life where they need government services about having a new baby. Therefore, we started looking at it from a bundling perspective. So instead of a customer looking at which government entities or government service centers they should visit, they just know what bundle they want. I'll give you an example of one of the services that we have. It's called Mabruk Mayak, which means congratulations on your newborn. And it bundled more than 7 services into one step and more than 5 payments into one payment. And to get everything related to this newborn within 3 hours now using this bundle.
In Asan service centers, we are providing reactive services to our citizens. But now we launched a new project, which is called MyGov, My Government Project. And it's about providing proactive services to our citizens. For that, we are very widely using data in order to predict expectations of our citizens, and in-house by the government, we are trying to involve the companies to this process as well.
When you plant yourself with other people, you make the kinds of connections that last and that allow us to keep advancing the ball, to continue to refine our thinking and to challenge each other. That sense of almost like a healthy peer competition, like, oh, I'm going to have something to say when I get back together with this group. What have I done? What do I bring to the table? So I think that's a real value that we can see in this group.
It's really necessary to have experiments within your own organization, because otherwise it's too complicated to have these discussions with other partners to develop services. So you must test and explore a little bit within your own organization. You must train your employees. There are hardly any projects where you don't have to collaborate, so it's really important to learn how you can build firm coalitions.
The UE has always designed its government services and looked at government services as actually an enabler to society. Today the UAE is looking forward and say, I want to do even more and even better. I want to be even more customer-centric. I want to make sure that my government services are actually not just the best in the world, but the most satisfactory in the world for the people that use them. And actually, how can I enhance their life? How can I actually add value? And how can we actually, from a government standpoint, make sure that the customer is actually the epicenter? Take away all the uncertainties that come with it and give them the ability to focus on what they would like to focus on, what they love most and what they like best, which is a service that's one, curated around them, two, that is there when they need it, and actually think about what does the customer/citizen need and not what does the government need. For a very long time, governments have been focused on actually designing services or they're implementing those designs in a way that suits the governments. What we're seeing here is actually a total reversal.
All the different methodologies available today, including the GX program, are amazing. They can change how citizens are served. They can change how citizens, you and I, access services at a government level in the country of our choice. I really believe governments need to look at GX as a program that can bring a new wave of energy, that can bring efficiency and accountability in their governments.